The importance of plant seeding and plant vigor in the spring of the year is very critical. And this is a study out of Purdue University where they looked at high vigor and low vigor, high vigor being 96%, low vigor being 86%, and the difference in yield was 20 bushel. So that's why we believe in the biological seed coatings on that seed, either as a liquid or as a dry. You can put it on the farm as a dry, or we can treat it as a liquid. But this was some Albert Lee organic corn with nothing on it. After 12 days, we saw a good improvement in top growth and root growth. So we've been promoting biological seed coatings for a lot of years. The other thing, by getting a better root system underneath that plant, this was actually a field of corn that in August, the latter part of August, it had the coating here, no coating here, and we got a heavy rain and wind. You can see the difference in root structure. This here was very difficult to combine. It was laying on the ground flat. This was, you could still row it and get in there. So I mean, there's a lot of value to doing that.
Hey Jim, I got another comment.
What?
So I had an organic producer, just met him in western Minnesota, and he said that he planted half of his field that was treated with ProfitCoat, same variety. The other half he didn't plant it. He had a cold, wet period that came in, and the half that was treated, he was able to salvage it, and the other half that was not treated, there wasn't enough there to keep, so he had to replant it. That convinced him that to run ProfitCoat on every acre.
Yeah. So Matt, you're running a starter and you're using this product right here. I'll pass this around, and this is just a really high water soluble product. It's just really excellent quality, a 2014 12.6S with all the traces in it. And we have a lot of growers that are using that and they love it. Matt, how is it to work with? Here's an example of 2 pounds, and here it is dissolved in a gallon of water. And so how are you using this product? And when you go out to plant, you're planning on planting, you'll mix this up the day before, or?
Yeah, or even before that. I have an old milk tank I put in the shed, and then I have just a nurse tank, 1,300 gallons. It has a sparge tube in it. So I just take the pallet of fertilizer and I jump up on top of my tank and I put in however many gallons of water and however many pounds I'm going to run, and I'll just mix that up and pump it into my tank until I have what I figure all of my corn acres. And then when I'm going to start planting, I'll pump it out of that tank, run it through an inductor, and that's when I add the micronutrient mix and everything else, the molasses. Those products I don't want to leave sit in a tank for, I mean, you never know. If it sits in there for a month, you might have a little trouble getting it through a screen on the way back out. So I usually only add those products
at the time when you're ready to go.
Yeah. And it's really simple. I just set the tote there and just have an electric pump on it. And if I need 20 gallons, you pump 20 gallons into the inductor, turn the pump on, put it back in the tank, and away you go.
That's what the guys have really liked about the Recipe for Success, is that everything comes blended. There's no packages, no mixing. You just gotta know how many ounces an acre you're gonna put in. So he's blending this in the water, and then when he's ready to plant, he'll put into the nurse tank what he needs on the other products.
Jim, when you have a totem like these 6 or 8 different things together, do you have to agitate them once in a while, or do they stay in suspension?
For the most part, they stay in pretty good suspension. Yeah. You know, if you're moving them with a forklift, just shake them a little bit. But they're
roll
pretty
the
good.
Forks back and hit the brakes a little too hard a couple of times, and it stays pretty good.
Yeah. What questions would you have of Matt about the planter? So this is the one you go on top of the strips, and
there's there's really nothing that special about my planter. I think the closing wheels, I do like, these are furrow cruisers, and I like the dimpled closing wheels a little bit better than the smooth closing wheels that are factory. Other than that, there's really nothing that special about it. I guess there's tons of these around. Liquid
Okay.
starter and center fill planter. It's pretty simple.
This is bio nurture. This would be the microbial product that Matt would use with his starter. And it's got over 25 different microbes with it. I just sent it in for analysis and it came back very, very high. A lot of CFUs. And that just jump starts that whole row and gets it going, and the microbes are helping the plant during germination. They're helping it as it develops its root system, and they're solubilizing, and they're helping control the pathogens that are in that zone. The bioenergy, this product we talked about in the classroom, this is the one that's got the 13 different ingredients in it. You won't find another one like this on the market. It's packed with everything you need. You can use this at a quart per acre or even a pint, depending on what your program is with a starter. And then you can come back with your foliar at a quart. High value crops, I'd even go 2 quarts. And then we can use it in the side dress unit too, if we want to. The bio impact again is a chitosan product. And I use 2 sources of chitosan there. I use a liquid chitosan and a 90% powder chitosan that I import. And I can dissolve, believe it or not, 8 pounds of the powder into a gallon of water. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so you don't need, I'm obviously not using that much. You don't need a lot of that chitosan to really activate the system. And what it's doing, it's turning on the natural system, because a lot of your beneficial microbes produce chitosan, the enzyme that dissolves chitin. It also is a stimulant for the plant. So it's an elixir for the plant. And what it does, it stimulates the plant to produce its own chitinase. And when it does that, it stays greener longer, and you get brick levels that come up. It helps with photosynthesis and helps shut down on respiration. I don't know why I didn't learn about this back when I was going to college, but it's a hidden secret in the industry. And it's unbelievable. This is the most intriguing technology that I've ever worked with. And we can use this as a seed coating, we can use it in the starter, and we can use it foliar. We're also looking of using chitosan in animal feed to help there. There's a company now selling a synthetic chitosan in animal feed to control flower larvae, because obviously larvae have chitin in it. And so it could be used in that vein too, or maybe even a product that could be added to the manure to cut down on larvae if you needed to.
Dr. Jim?
Yeah.
I was trying to remember, does the bioenergy have some chitosan in it?
Yes.
Okay.
This has obviously not the strength. This is your power pack here, but I've got the chitosan in this one. I've got the yucca and kohala, the same as I have in that. This also, looking at the wrong one. Yeah, so this has your ethylene inhibitor in it.
What is the ethylene inhibitor?
Ethylene inhibitor is a potassium derivative. And when your plants go under stress, they produce ethylene. And that's what starts shutting down and prematuring the plant. Believe it or not, Stress Away at 4 ounces an acre, which is $2 an acre, does wonders on curbing stress. We've seen really good results with that. So I put that into this product. I don't have this ethylene inhibitor in here because I already had 13 different ingredients in here. The kohala and yucca are both plant extracts. And especially the kohala helps with insect control. It's a natural insecticide, and they're also natural stimulants. So you got the energy, the nutrition, you got the trace elements, the biostimulant, the microbes. You got 2 seaweed kelp products in there and 1 fish 15. So it's really loaded. This one has really 4 main ingredients. Now in the organic version, I can't put the ethylene inhibitor in there. Okay. Now we talked a little bit about Herbalite. This is a high energy material that could act as a foliar spray too, but if you're spraying herbicides, and I gave you that list that would qualify with this is really a good product to use, right, Dennis? We've had unbelievable results. I mean, we just don't get complaints on this product. And it helps keep that plant energized, growing. When you spray that herbicide, you don't have the drag period. It just keeps going, and the weeds die quicker and more complete. And it's got the micro package in it.
Don't get as much.
Huh?
I used it with Cobra, and you don't get as much of the
Burn?
of the burn of
Yeah,
the leaves.
yeah. Now, we don't recommend it with Cobra, but... Oh, have you? Okay.
Well, that Cobra's on that list.
I was going
Okay.
to say, it's
Is it on that list, Dennis? You put it on that list?
I added it.
Okay, I stand corrected. Okay.
Are you putting on one source of starter? I mean, one total mix? Or
Yep.
Are you putting it on the seed or?
Under. There's a stainless steel tube coming down in between that runs on the front side of the seed tube. So the starter goes in at the bottom of the seed trench, and then the seed. So they're whatever, 1/4 inch apart, whatever it would be.
1/4 inch below the seed?
Yeah.
Could you put that to the side too, or doesn't
You could. I used to run nitrogen coulters 2x2 on my planter.
And that's what we do on Jim. I'm wondering if we put that nitrogen 2x2, if we put this stuff in there, is it better in the seed trench?
No, that would be fine.
Will it burn the seed?
Not at 2x2,
This,
This stuff here.
No,
I'm putting it 1/4 inch away.
Yeah.
no.
Under it.
Well, I can,
These products are very, very
I
safe.
think mine's would drop it
Yeah.
Jim, how do you feel about putting these things on the seed? Or would you rather see them underneath or?
Well, this one we're actually going to be coating seed with it. Okay? Because of what it does, it helps kind of protect that seed and make it more viable, and it holds the moisture.
We've put it on sweet corn.
And I've got a whole study. I mean, the light bulb went out, I started searching this thing. I'm not kidding you, I have a notebook that thick on Kaizen technology. There's been a lot of work done on it. The reason why it hasn't been brought out, again, is because of the chemical companies. They don't want competition, okay? And, they stand in the way of getting these type of things registered. It's kind of a slow process, but the EPA has granted this a traditional as a non-risk material. So that's the first step. We're hoping next year we'll be able to have it. Right now it's labeled as an adjuvant, that we'd be able to have a biocontrol label. I would hope that with this here and this here, we can eliminate the fungicide, the nasty fungicides on corn, along with having a healthy plant prior to that. Really your plant health starts at conception, right? So, I mean, the minute that seed starts germinating, and how you treat that seed gets treated determines its health all the way through the season. Once a runt, always a runt, right?
Jim, you said there was a way of putting that seed coat on at the planter, or where it goes up that thing?
Yeah.
That is dry.
It's dry.
So you can put that out with the seed and then put this in the front of the side.
Yes, yes, yes. And that one, we get it out of, what's the name of that applicator, Dennis? It's a stainless steel. Huh? Changing Times. We can get it for you. It's a wonderful stainless steel unit. It's very durable. It lasts forever as long as you don't abuse it. And guys like it. And you can just treat your seed as you're loading it. And guys, if you're using cover crops, put the ProfitProAG PB on there too when you're blending. It makes a world of difference on your take on the cover crop.
Sometimes when you put that put on right when you're putting it in the tender, it kind of sticks in the planter. Doesn't want to come out. Does that bother that way in the air?
This is dry. So it acts as a talc. It's your talc. Okay?
So that's the talc, you don't use regular talc
Right.
then to
Right. Yep.
lubricate it.
No.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay, let's go down, quickly hit this, and then we'll go to the drones. So anyway, Matt, tell us a little bit why you side dress and what's involved with this.
I started side dressing because of, as those charts we looked at earlier today, if you're putting all your nitrogen and sulfur, especially up front, your plant wants it towards the end, and nitrogen and sulfur leach out at about approximately the same rates. So if you're worried about nitrogen leaching, your sulfur's going right with it. So I side dress and I run a blend of ATS with my 32%, and that's how I'm getting some of my sulfur.
Explain to
Late
him what
season.
ATS is.
Liquid sulfur.
Yeah. Remember, when you learned something today now, when does the corn plant need sulfur? During seed fill, right? So you got to plan that, because not all sulfur's release on a time schedule. So you got to make sure that that you're going to have plenty there, and you do see sulfur deficiencies as you're driving around the country. It's one element I think a lot of people overlook. It's very important for building protein. The other thing, as we talked about in the classroom, you know, this is a simple concept here, but it makes you money. Figure out how you can have more in the NH4 form rather than the nitrate form. And, you know, even if it's 5-10 bushel an acre, that all counts up. And that's going to be determined by how you manage it, what source you're using, what companion products you're using. And I think if you got a bioactive area and you're building your organic matter, you can make this here work for you. And then I'm just going to mention, this is a study we did over by Redwood Falls a few years ago with a custom applicator. You can put eubio in with your liquid fertilizer. And Doug Rollick over there, so this is the control down here, 2 different varieties. And this is what had the cat of water in it. You can see the difference in the growth. And the reason why you're seeing that kind of activity is because the cat of water, the eubio, I'm sorry, not cat of water. The eubio is pushing the microbes and nutrient and energy availability, mainly because we're driving the microbial activity as seen through the microscope, is what's happening.
It's not a blend of organic acids then? What is the C10?
It's a long fermentation process, so it's a fermented product. And what it's doing, it's very unique. There's not another technology out there like it that I know of. It's driving the ATP, the energy cycle. So, and we've got data on that, lab data to show increased ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So that's the energy cycle in a plant. It also has to do with oxygen. And so anything with biology, it's driving that, it's driving then the enzymatic activity. So if we cascade the microbes, we're doing that because of the energy component that and the oxygen, and then they produce the enzymes that's driving the system and the secondary metabolites.
Is that one that you make on the roof?
Okay, let's now go down to the drone. How about that?